Okay, for step number 1, I'm going to grab my 2x20 beam, and I need 4 white connector pins. So my first connector pin, starting from the left side, is going to go in the second hole on the top row, right there in the back side. Then the 4th hole on the bottom row. Then the 16th hole on the bottom row. So bottom row, so this is 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. And then on the 20th hole on the bottom row. Now I'm going to grab my 1x20 yellow beam. Push this to the bottom. I'm going to put my left hole in the 4th hole at the bottom. Flip that over for you, it looks like this. So you see the left first hole is in. I'm going to grab my other yellow beam, the shorter one, which is the 1x8. And put the bottom hole in just like that. Then I'm going to grab this corner connector pin, stick it on the end here of my yellow beam, and I place it on so that this connector pin is facing down and away. Also, the opening is facing down. Alright, moving on to number 2, I'm going to grab 2 of my corner connectors, and I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to put this on the top row. First, I'm going to put it in the 18th hole. So let's flip this over. So the 18th hole would be this one right here. Starting from the left would be number 1, obviously. And then on my far right would be number 20. So this is number 18. And I have my connector pin facing up, the opening facing down. And then I'm going to put the second one in number 12. It's 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. My connector pin facing up, opening facing down. Now for step number 3, I'm going to find another one of my corner connectors, just like this. And I'm going to find my connector pin that's a dark gray color. It's long. And I'm going to place this, my connector pin, upside down. Place that right inside. Just like that. Now we'll slide back down. That's okay. Once we start to build up our entire car, that won't happen. So this piece that we just made, I'm going to flip this over again. And I'm going to put this new piece into hole number 17. And make sure that my gray pin is facing up. So hole number 17. There we go. So this is in hole number 17. My gray pin is sticking up, and my other connector pin is attached to the corner connector is facing down the beam. Okay, on to step number 5. I'm going to grab 3 connector pins and my 2x16 beam. I'm going to flip this beam over. My first connector pin is going to go into hole number 1 on the top row. And then it's going to go into hole number 16 on the back side. Hole number 16 on my 2x16 beam on the top row. Okay, so I have 1 in the first and 1 in the last on the top row. Then I'm going to also put my other connector pin in the second to the last hole on the bottom of my 2x16 beam. So that looks like this. And now just line everything up. So this far left goes into the first hole. And it should line up just like that. Okay, now on to step number 6, I'm going to grab my 2x7 beam and grab 2 of the white connector pins. Now my first connector pin, I'm going to put in the bottom row, far left in the first hole, hole number 1. So that's the left bottom row. And my second one is going to go on the top row, hole number 7. Looks just like that. And I'm going to attach this to this open first beam. So, okay, step number 7. I'm going to grab 2 of my corner connectors that look like that. So I need 2 of these, 2 standoffs, the ones that have 2 divots on the top, and then 1 that has 4. Okay, so go ahead and flip this over. Grabbing your corner connector piece, flip it upside down so that the opening is facing down. And I'm going to put the first one in hole number 1 and hole number 2 on the far left. And then the second one in hole number 3 and hole number 4. Then I'm going to grab the standoff that looks like this, has 2 divots in it. And I'm going to put this in the 14th hole on this yellow beam. So let's count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, skip the middle hole, 11, 12, 13, and here's number 14. My second one, 2 divots in it, is going to go in the 3rd hole from the top on this yellow beam. The shorter one, the 1x4. Let's put that in the 3rd hole at the top. 1, 2, 3. And then my last standoff that has 4 divots in it is going to go into the last hole on my beam down here. Okay. Alright, so this is one side of our dragster. We're going to go ahead and set this to the side and make our second side. So grab all those same pieces that you had for step number 1. So I got my 2x20 beam, got my 1x20 yellow beam, my 1x8 yellow beam, 4 white connector pins, 3 corner connectors, and my gray connector pin, the longer one. Okay, so go ahead and start off by grabbing your connector pins. And the first one, so build it from left to right. The first one, this white connector pin is going to go into the bottom of hole number 1, bottom row. Second connector pin goes into hole number 5 on the bottom row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And now my last 2 connector pins, this one is going to go on my right side to hole number 17 on the bottom row. So this is 20, 19, 18, here's 17. And my last one is going to go into hole number 19 on the top row. Like so. Now go ahead and grab your 1x20 beam, and we're going to attach the far right, the first hole, into the bottom in hole number 17. Line everything up. Take your corner connector. With it facing towards you, you're going to put this on the last hole on the yellow side. Like so, with the connector pin facing down away from the beam. And now grab your 1x8 and attach it to that corner connector up there at the top. So again, this beam is going to look just like the beam that you just made. This is just the opposite side of the car. Go ahead and flip this beam over. Grab your corner connector pins, 2 of them. The first one is going to go into hole number 3 on the top. So 1, 2, 3. Make sure that the opening is facing down. Connector pin is facing up. grab your second one, and our second one is going to go into hole number 9. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just like so. And now we still have our connector pin, and you want to grab one more of these corner connectors, and just like we did on the other one, take this gray pin and put it straight through. Just like that. We're going to attach this piece to hole number 4. Make sure that that gray pin is sticking up. Like so. Alright, now time for step number 12. Grab another one of your 2x16 beams, 3 connector pins, and you can flip your beam over so that the yellow is facing down. The 1x8 is on your right side. I'm going to grab one of my connector pins. I'm going to put the first one in my top row on the far left. That's hole number 1. Put the second pin in hole number 2 at the bottom row. And put the third pin in hole number 16 on the far right. Now I'm going to attach this to hole number 20 right there on the top row. Sandwich everything together. Make sure you hear a click so you know everything is connected. Moving on to step number 13, grab your 1x7 beam and also grab 2 connector pins. Okay. Take your first connector pin, put it in the top at hole number 1, like so, on the back side, and put the second one, here we go. Put the second one in the bottom row, hole number 7. So you have 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom. Now this whole connector pin on hole number 7 is going to go into this open hole on hole number 20 on the bottom row. Sorry, hole number 16. This is hole number 16 on the 1x16 beam, 2x16 beam. Sandwich that all together. Should look just like that. Now it should start to look just like the first one that you made. Now grab that first beam that you made. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, so now that I have my first beam, I'm going to put both of these beams together. So it's okay that these 1x8 beams are flopping a little bit. They'll be more sturdy once we connect everything. So go ahead and line everything up. So that means that these connector pins should be going into hole number 1 through 4, like so. Oops. All right, these standoffs in the middle should be lined up to each other. Connect those there. Connect this one to the last hole, and connect the one at the top to the third hole. Now if you're following along with me while also looking at the instructions that VEX gives, you'll notice that in their in step number 14, they show this connector pin. I mean, sorry, not a connector pin. This is called a standoff. They have the one with the 2 divots. They show it connected here, but they never showed it in the past step. So this standoff goes into hole number 3. So 1, 2, 3, and it goes in between. And it should be holding the front halves together. Okay. All right, now for step 15, grab 2 connector pins and also grab 2 of these 2x3 beams. The first connector pin is going to go at the bottom of your car, just like that, in those holes, and the corner connector, and the second one goes on the other side. Let's rotate this. Like that. Okay, so now this beam is going to be connected in the bottom row on the far right, like so. So that looks like that, bottom row. And this one is going to also go on the last hole, but it's going to be on the top row. Okay, so one at the bottom, one at the top. Moving on to step 16. Grab your two of your corner connectors, the one that has 2 pins at the bottom, 1 hole at the top. And then also grab your beam, the 2x9 beam. And we're going to put these 2 connector pins in the 3rd and 4th hole on the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, with the opening facing towards me. And the second one is going to go in the 6th and 7th hole. So this is 4, skip number 5, and that's in 6 and 7. Now for step 17, turn your car so that it's facing towards you. And we're going to connect these 2 connector pins to our structure that we just made. So that's the front of our car, just like that. Now for step number 18, grab 2 of your white corner connectors, grab 2 of your standoffs that are the smallest ones that you have, and then also grab corner connector that's 2x3. Okay, using our white connector pins, I'm going to attach the first one to the front of my car in the hole right there, and the second one on the other side, like so. Taking my standoffs, make sure you're using the smallest one. I'm going to attach this one to this front 2x3, but in the middle hole. It's like so. Make sure in the middle. Get close on that so you can see. Okay, and you're going to take your corner connector 2x3, and with this lip facing down, you're going to attach it to the top and bottom hole, like so. Okay, now moving on to number 19. You're going to grab the smallest metal shaft that you have, and you're going to grab 2 of your yellow gears. Got 2 of those. You're going to also grab 2 of these medium gray gears, medium size, and then our smallest gray gears. And then if we're using the shaft, we're going to need shaft collars, of course, so grab 2 of those. Alright, on the first layer of our shaft, we're going to grab a shaft collar, slide that on. Then after the shaft collar, we're going to grab a gear, yellow gear, slide that down. Then after our yellow gear, we're going to grab our medium-sized gray gear, slide that on. Then grab your smallest and slide that on. Now we're going to attach it to our car. Okay, so if you have your car facing the same way that I do, with the left side having the yellow beam sticking up and the right side being the front of the car, we're going to attach our metal shaft right there to the 19th hole on the 2x20 beam. Okay, so push that all the way through. Now if you flip your car around, we're going to attach these other pieces in the same order. So that means, well, opposite order actually. But first thing is going to be our small gear, then our medium, then our yellow, then our collar. Okay, now we have the front of our car. And make sure you're pushing this metal shaft so that the sides are kind of even, sticking out evenly on both sides. Now it's kind of starting to look like a car, just a little bit. Okay, now for step 22, I'm going to need one of my 2x8 beams and 4 white connector pins. So you grab 4 of them. And my first 2 connector pins, I'm going to attach those to these 2 open holes right here. Here's 1, 2. And my last 2 connector pins I'm going to attach not to that first square. See how it's kind of aligned in between them, attach it to the second square. And I'm going to take my 2x8 beam and just attach the first row. And then also attach the second column, attach it to the third row. So it looks like that. Now for step 23, I'm going to grab my right angle beams. I need 2 of them, really small, look like L's. And I'm going to attach those to these connector pins right here that are sticking up into the hole that's right here on the corner of it. Make sure when you attach them, they're sitting back to back like so. So they look like this. 1. And 2. Okay, for step 24, I'm going to grab 4 of my white connector pins, and I have my 2x2, my little square beam, and I'm going to take these 4 pieces and I'm going to attach them into these right angles in the shape of a square. So 2 of them on the top, 2 connector pins on the bottom, and then put your square directly on top. Okay, now for step 25. Step 25, I'm going to grab 4 white connector pins and also my corner connector that looks like this. And first I'm just going to take 2 and we're going to work on the side closest towards us first. And I'm going to take these 2 connector pins, hold your car up so that it's facing like this in front of you. And my first connector pin is going to go in the top row, the second hole from the right, like so. And the second one is going to go in the bottom row on the furthest right. Now I'm going to take my corner connector, make sure that the lip is facing towards you, and I'm going to attach my piece just like that. Now flip it over. Anything we do to the left side, gotta do to the right side. So we're going to do the same exact thing that we just did. So 1 in the top and 1 in the bottom. Piece, corner connector, and the lip is facing towards me, and it looks like that. So both sides should look exactly the same. Now time for the small little details on our car. So I'm going to grab this standoff that has 1 connector pin at the bottom and has one open hole at the top. I need 4 of these, and then I'm going to grab a standoff that has 4 divots in it, and I need 4 of those. So first thing I'm going to do is take all of them and put the connector pin in so that the opening is facing down, connector pin is facing up. Do that to all 4 of them really quick before we attach them. 2, here's 3, and our 4th one. Okay, so now starting with the part of the car that's closest towards you, we're going to take 2 of these and we're going to put it in the knife hole in the middle. So if I start my count back here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can't really see the 7th one, but the 7th one is in the middle. 8, 9. So I'm going to put 1 into hole number 9. Sticking up like that. And then I'm going to put the second one into hole number 11. Okay. Flip the car over. Do the same thing. Hole number 9, hole number 11 in the middle row. 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. And 11. Okay. So it looks like that. You can put them kind of on a slant. Okay, now moving on. Grab 2 of your beams that look like this. And we're going to attach that to, one of them is going to go to these gray connector pins, one of them is going to go to the black. So let's start with the black first. Attach the 2 side holes. And take your second one, attach it to the gray holes. Slide in just like that, really easy. Now grab your yellow knob. You should remember this piece from if you built the forklift. Grab a connector pin and grab your corner connector. Now you're going to take this connector pin and put it in the back of the corner connector. So when I say the back, I consider this the front because it has like this little open lip on it. Make sure it's sticking out the side that doesn't have the lip on it, the side that's flat. Now your knob has a square end and a circle end. Make sure you attach the circle end to the corner connector, like so. And you're going to take this knob that you just created, and we're going to attach it to the middle hole of this 1x4 beam that you just attached to your car. So it's in the middle hole of the back one, just like that. Now grab 2 corner connectors that look like that, kind of have that triangle shape to it. And these are going to go on both sides of that 1x4 beam that you attach. Make sure that the lips are facing away. So this is the lip. Make sure it's facing towards you, away from the car. That goes on that side. This one's going to go on the other side. Now, grab the yellow piece, the piece that's for the forklift, or was for the forklift, now it's going to be for our car. And then grab 2 of those short gray connector pins like this. And now with the forklift facing towards you just like that, attach these gray pieces in the bottom 2 holes. So one is like that. The other is like that. Take the piece that looks like this. You should have 2 of them. Flip your forklift upside down and attach it, and then bend it so that it's kind of in like a right angle shape, L shape, whatever you want to call it, just like that. Alright, so these 2 gray holes are going to go right here in the middle in our gray connector pins that are sticking up. Now yours may have fell down when you attach the beams. If you just reach from the back, you can push those right back up. So I'm going to attach this one side at a time. So that looks like so. Alright, scoot your car out your way just for a little sec. And I'm going to need you to grab 2 of these 1x6 beams. Grab 2 of those, 2 connector pins, and 2 of these pieces like this. Now, let's start with one at a time. So grab one of those beams, 1x6, and put this connector pin in the far right. Grab your piece like this and attach it so that this open, like this mouth, is facing up to the sky, and you're in the first hole just like that. Okay. Now this, we're going to attach it to our car onto our yellow beam. So grab 2 more connector pins, and our first connector pin is going to go into hole number 2. So here's the top of it, here's hole number 1, here's hole number 2. Sorry, I gotta put it down for a sec to get a good grip of it. And our second connector pin is going to go into this far left hole right here on our corner connector. Okay. And now the piece we just created is going to be attached in by this bottom hole and the top hole. So whichever one you want to put in first. Let's start with the bottom down here. So let's do the bottom and stretch it so that this goes to the top. Now, anything we do to one side, we got to do to the other side. So go ahead and flip your car over. Grab that beam again. Grab that funny looking piece like this. Grab your corner connector, and we're just going to do the same thing. So we put this in the last hole. So we're doing the same thing, we're just doing the opposite side. So before it was at the bottom right, now it's on the left side. We still make sure that that lip is facing up, and we're going to attach it like so. Now we got to get 2 more connector pins and attach it to our car. So in the corner connector right here. Okay. And then we put this in the second hole. And attach it the same exact way. Here's a close-up of that. Alright, now flip your car, put it around so that the wheels are on your right side and these yellow beams are on your left. And now we're going to need, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white connector pins. And we need 2 of our rectangle beams, look like that. These are the only pieces in your set that looks like this, so these should be really easy to find. Look like really large rectangles. Now go ahead and grab just one of them. And grab 3 connector pins. Now our first connector pin, starting from the left side, is going to go in the second row, far left. Then we're going to come in on that same row. We're going to come in on that same row and put our second connector pin on the back side in the 1, 2, 3, in the fourth hole. And then our third connector pin that should still be in your hand, we're going to come to the bottom row and put it in the second from the right hole. Okay. Now this beam is going to get connected to the far left side of your car. The hole that's in, the connector pin that's in the far left is going to get connected to this first hole. And then once you put in the first hole, everything else will line up. So the first one goes in the first hole at the top. The white one in the fourth hole goes into the second at the top, so on and so on. It looks like that. Now, we already know anything we do to the left, we probably are going to do to the right. So flip our car over, seeing how we have two of the same pieces, and we're going to do the same thing, but this time instead of going from the left, we're going to go from the right. So what that means is this time one connector pin is going to go to the bottom row, third row, sorry, not the third row, second row, third column, so second row, third column, and then second row, last column. Okay. And again, this white connector pin starts at that first hole. Line that up. Sandwich it down. Make sure everything clicks. That looks like that. Now it's time to put our back wheels on. So grab your second metal shaft. It should be the longest one that you have. The only one that you have left should be. And grab two of the gray gears. Let's set our car back here for a second. Two gray gears. You're going to need three of the shortest standoffs. And you're going to need two shaft collars, at least for this side. We're going to need two. Alright, starting with our gear. Oops. Starting with our gear and our standoff pieces, we are going to rotate our gear. If you hold it so that the VEX words are in front of you, we're going to rotate it so that the VEX is kind of slightly to the left instead of center. And we're going to put our first standoff in this hole that's right above the V. See how I'm right above the V and I put it in that hole on the back side. Then we put our second one in this bottom left. So I skipped one, put it right there. And I'm going to skip one again, put it on the side. Let me give you a second to look at what that looks like. So I started in the hole right above the V, and I skipped one hole in between each connector pin that I did. Now grab your second gear and rotate it so that you see the V again, and we're just going to sandwich this right on top of each other. Like so. Looks like that. And now put your metal shaft straight through both of them. Okay. Grab two of your shaft collars and put both on the end. Like so. Now grab your car. Set this to the side for 1 second. Grab your car and rotate it so that the yellow gears, the front of your car, is on your right side. And now we're going to attach our wheels that we just made to the far left side. First thing you're going to need to do before you attach it is find this spacer in your kit. Looks like that. Put the spacer on the metal shaft. Okay, and we are going to attach this piece to this middle hole. Space is trying to get away. We're going to attach it into that row that's in between the first and the second row. So if you watch any of my other videos before, you would know that we call this the in between. We call that 0.5. So this would be 1, that would be 1.5. Okay, attach it like so. 1.5, and it should be sticking out the other side. Now rotate your car. It'll be a little lopsided for a second. Grab two more of these gray gears, and we're going to do the same thing. So that means find 3 of those smallest standoffs, like that. Holding the VEX, holding it so that the words that say VEX are in front of me. Put one, on the back side. on the back side, right above the V. Skip one hole. Skip another hole. So, grab my second gear. Find the side that says VEX facing towards me. And line everything up. Okay. Now before I put my gear on, I need to find my washer. My washer looks like this. Put my washer on first. Oops. Then put my gear or my wheels, because that's what they're going to be used for now, wheels. Find 2 shaft collars. Put both of them on. 1, 2. And now I have something that looks like a car. Now it looks like we're finished, but we're not finished yet. We're almost there. Find your corner connectors. They look like so. You need 2 of them. We're going to attach these 2 to our open hole at the top of our car. Now we have to add the wing on. So to add the wing, connect this corner connector piece so that the opening is facing down and the connector pin is facing away. So let me connect it first and then I'll give you a close-up on what that looks like. Alright, notice my connector pins are facing away and the opening is facing down, like so. Then find your beam. It's a 1x6. Remember, we don't count the middle hole. So yes, I know you're going to say, hey, this has 7 holes in it. Why'd you say 1x6? It's called 1x6 because we don't count that middle hole. Okay, we're going to attach this to these corner connectors. We're going to attach it to the, not the last holes, but the second holes on each side. Second holes. Now find two of your connector pins and a beam that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need a 2x6. Take these white connectors, put it in these holes at the top. 1, 2. And now we're going to attach this beam to the bottom row and the inside 2. So same thing we did to the other one, not in the first column, but that second column. Okay, so looks like that. And we still have another step. So we need the top part of our wing. Grab 4 connector pins. And we're going to attach 2 of them to the last row on the bottom row, last column. So one is sticking up like that. Come to the other end, sticking up like that. Then we're going to come to the top row and count over to the third one. So 1, 2, 3. And right next to it, whoops, trying to get away. And the 4th. Now take that 2x12 beam and we're going to attach the 2x12 beam in, starting with the bottom row in the 4th hole. So the 4th and the 9th hole gets the bottom. You line everything up on the 4th and the 9th. Should snap together. And then you have a completed VEX Dragster car. Like so. Thanks for watching.